Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I've got a news story for you all, and let me tell you, this one is truly the cat's meow. Yes, I was paid to say that. The following audio drama is written and directed by Cody Novotny. Now, this audio drama is indeed a prequel to Risky Places episode 49. Jamie Aaron, the ever-popular podcaster, wrote, recorded, and edited his own short story, but it never got released because he was planning on uploading it when he got back home. And let me tell you, after listening to it myself, I have learned that Mr. Aaron and I have a lot in common. But that is enough about me, ladies and gentlemen. I give you Daydreams, a short story.
My daydreams start like everyone else's. I stare off into space and my mind begins to wander, explore, dive. And there's no telling where it will go unless you are actively trying to make it go somewhere. Sometimes that place is dark and cruel, or the ones that are most memorable to me, bright and nostalgic. But there is more to these daydreams. They give me a feeling I have grown very accustomed to, almost as if it is a vision to another place, another world. To gain this ability to travel there is easy for me. What I always do is hand make breakfast, mostly scrambled eggs with some special twist added to it, like diced green peppers or onions. I'll put bread in the toaster oven and pull down on the little switch. Lastly, I'll make myself a cup of English breakfast tea, then quickly regret making it and either forcefully drink it down or pour it out and make something else I do like. But what makes this whole process of making breakfast so magical to me is what I listen to. A video game soundtrack with a beautiful atmospheric orchestra. The Octopath Traveler. As of writing this and actually recording this, I have yet to beat the Octopath Traveler, but there's something about the music that speaks to me in a language that only I can hear, only I can understand. Like an ancient language that, when spoken aloud, opens a magic portal. A portal that, though unconsciously, I willingly step into. In a seamless transition, I am deep in my head. No, not my head. In a different place. But not with the feeling of nostalgia. I have felt nostalgia and I've grown very fond of it, but this feeling is different. This feeling defies all laws of science. And since the first time I have traveled down this otherworldly path, it has become to feel more true than anything I have ever been taught or told. I find myself traveling down a dirt path. Orange and red leaves fall from trees that stand 10 feet tall. Their branches hanging over my head, the crunch of their leaves under my feet. I am in an orchard. An empty orchard. Empty only of people. Empty of signs of there ever being people. It doesn't take me long to realize I'm alone. I can feel the cool breeze that flows even more leaves down to the rich soil. As I continue walking, I start to notice more things. How fewer hibernating trees there are, and how many more dead trees there are. I see thick log fences outside log cabins. This beautiful autumn orchard turned into a creepy, decaying orchard in a transition that I didn't even notice. It's Halloween. My favorite holiday. I couldn't tell you why it's my favorite. The reasons I always tell people are for the horror movies, the candy, and various other things. But there is a more true reason behind it. A reason I haven't told anybody. I don't exactly know why, but here it is. The atmosphere. Some horror movies capture that feeling better than others, but they don't quite get there. As my human mind wanders to the wonders of Halloween, the song of the album I am listening to changes and I am sent to a different place. A location I discovered when directing my first play. While preparing the show, we gained access to a rehearsal space, a yoga studio. This yoga studio has a wall that is just windows, and outside those windows is a wooden deck that is suspended and overlooking a small body of water. Across the body of water was an apartment complex that was beautiful and majestic. 2 of the walls in the room were covered with mirrors, and the 4th wall was also a window that overlooked the lobby of the building. As the setting sun began to rest, its golden rays reflected off the rippling water into the big, tall room. And as I waited for my actors, I would listen to the Octopath Traveler. But instead of being transported to the orchard, I was sent to an odd place. It feels like a bridge on the top of a very spacious shopping mall. But I don't see any shops or kiosks. I can just sense that they are there. I don't look forward to see how long the bridge is. I just look up at the sunroofs, seeing the bright blue sky with the sun rays coming in at a sharp angle, creating yellow squares on the white wall opposite of the light's godly source. As I start to get comfortable in this new location, the world transforms itself in another transition that I don't notice. Don't care to notice. The world turns virtual, or something that would be virtual, but this one feels real. Just merely appears to be something from the GameCube. This trip finally goes to a world with people in it. But it feels comfortable. Like how normally I would feel uncomfortable to be in large crowds, but here it's nice. Much like a video game, only small parts of this world are real. You can look out into the distance and see a vast landscape. Gigantic mountains, gaudy cities, epic oceans, thick forests. So this world continues to feel like all the other places I have traveled thus far. Isolated. As the feeling of loneliness starts to creep in, I'm sent to the final location. My childhood bedroom. Still a mess. Toys all over the floor. I can still hear the echo of my mom telling me to clean my room. The lights are off, and the shutters of my windows are down, creating bright light strips on my bed and down onto my floor, reflecting off the plastic of the playsets. I walk down the hall and I stop at an intersection between the kitchen and the front room. I look into the front room and I see that the table has a new centerpiece. 4 Easter baskets filled with thin tissue paper ribbons in various pastel colors, with a lot of chocolate. Mine has a G.I. Joe figure in it and a 3DS game. All the lights are off in the house, but yet it is still illuminated with a calming blueness. Outside the windows of the front room, I can see our small apple tree that is slowly getting closer and closer to falling over every year, and our pitifully small cherry tree that is still only a sapling. I just allow myself to explore this house, frozen in time, when the heat of the real world starts to pull me out. Now that you have heard of this adventure I have frequently, you will probably assume that it is just a nostalgia trip to some worlds that you could easily call my happy places. But I have to explain to you that I have experienced nostalgia before, and this isn't it. This is a feeling that I have that has no name that I'm aware of. These worlds I go to feel real. And since my first experience with these trips, I've grown an understanding of them. I believe that there is something more beyond our understanding, beyond science, beyond religion. I know it sounds a bit far-fetched to say that I have the secret to the universe off of a couple daydreams, but it is the thing that makes the most sense to me. And I don't believe everyone is ready to hear my explanation quite yet. After all, to narrow-minded people, they are still only daydreams.
I hope you enjoyed Daydreams by Cody Novotny. If you did, please consider visiting anchor.fm/CODY-NOVOTNY and support Cody Novotny through either donation or by simply subscribing to The Veil. Again, that is anchor.fm/CODY-NOVOTNY. The link will also be in the description of this production. I'm afraid our time is coming to an end, so remember, the Veil is there to protect us, not separate us. Good night.